Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a close look at the new ARBITES Sprues for Kill Team. We're going to get every little bit of information we can out of them, and also have a look at all the images that we've seen in the articles and previews so far. Today we got to see the Sprues for the first time, so this is going to give us a really good idea about the different operatives that we can build. We also saw this really good picture which shows us the inside of the new Soulshackle terrain with all the control panels, that awesome 3D display. Lots to like about that. So as well as looking at the models, we'll have a close-up look at some of the terrain features as well. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know I'll often get some names wrong. I'll pronounce them a little bit differently than they perhaps should be, and so it's very nice to see confirmation today that it is actually ARBITES on a Warhammer community article. So I'm really happy I've actually been saying these right so far, so that's really good news. Let's get on with it then, and we'll have a look at the first model, and this is going to be the Vigilant. So the article that came out today tells us that we're going to get more variety than usual. We also heard that in the LVO online preview. We can build the models within this set as an exaction squad, which are specifically for Kill Team with all the different weapons and gadgets, but we can also build them as Vigilants with combat shotguns for 40k, or Subductors with shields and mauls for 40k. So you're going to have a couple of options there, and then I imagine after this box set has come out a little while later, as we get towards the fourth and final box set of the season, we'll probably see these as a separate set that you can buy, which would be great for 40k. Here's another operative called the Proctor Exactant, and he's got a combat shotgun and repression baton, but there's some different ways you can put him together. So you could make him with a Dominator maul and assault shield if you wanted to. You can also have him with or without that Eagle drone, that microphone that they call it, and then you can use that Eagle drone as a game token instead. I'm really glad we got this option, because personally I'm not a big fan of this image here. I don't really like it attached to him, so I like the idea of it separate as a separate piece. So that's really cool that they've done that. This article is really good to give us an idea of what operatives we can use, and we'll see the Sprues in a moment. But there's some narrative options here that I think are really interesting with the kill teams they've included this time. And that brings me on to something I've been really wanting to do on the channel for a while. And I've got to say a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping me keep going with these daily videos that I've been doing so far for the past couple of years. And something I really want to do is narrative battle reports on the channel. But they're so time consuming. It's a huge effort, and I really need some help to get those going. So I've set myself a goal of 100 Patreons, and if we can get to that goal together, then I can do regular narrative battle reports on the channel. And if that's something you're interested in, it would be great to have your support. I'll put a link down in the comments and the description that will take you to my Patreon, where you can have a look at some perks. There's all different ones there, starting from low right up to high, with all different things attached to them. But once we get to 100 Patreons, then I'd be looking to do some extra related perks to these narrative battle reports, behind the scenes, voting what kill teams are included, maybe pushing the story forward together, that kind of thing. So I want to make something very heavy on narrative, make it fun. So I'd love it if you could help me get there and we could do it together. Right, let's get back to these models. So here's another operative. This is the Gunner, or one version of them at least. As you'll see in the Sprues in a little while, there's quite a few heavy weapons that we could potentially choose from, which is the norm for these human kill teams at the moment. But we're certainly going to get lots of details, like all these handcuffs, buckles. You're going to get rarely seen gadgets, something they call webbers to subdue the enemy, biosample extractors, soul guilt scanners, all sorts of things. So this is going to be interesting how they tie in these gadgets into the new specific rules for these operatives. I think a lot of us are looking forward to seeing the Cyber Mastiff built and painted, and it looks like they're going to be combining it with the Leash Master, so you may have to take both of these onto the kill zone at the same time. We'll have to wait and see for confirmation on that. The two models together, though, I think look great. You're going to have the dog itself that can actually do some certain mission actions. And they tell us in the article that one of these actions is called Gather Evidence, and that's a tac op that's specific to the exaction squad. But this dog can also carry some bags. It looks like a medical bag, so I wonder if that's going to have any kind of medical use, or carry stims or something like that. It was great to see some new images of the different operatives, but there's still a few other choices here that we saw in the original LVO preview online, and there's going to be lots of build options by the looks of it. Different weapons. There's this new sniper rifle that looks really good. You've got some great melee weapons. It looks like you can use these spiked handcuffs as a weapon as well, maybe get a bit of extra range from that. But the sniper rifle looks really cool. It's got what looks like a drum-fed magazine, so that's nice. So maybe you're going to be getting 6 shots of this. I hope so. Always fun to roll 6 dice. And then you've got some other models like this one. This has got to have some medic thing attached to it, I imagine. And then we've got lots of ways of putting the heavy gunner together. So we're going to get some heavy gunner options. Here's one of them now. And so, yeah, I think we're going to have to choose, again, which operatives we take in, and we're going to have to leave some behind. So there's going to be some decisions to make, and I'll be covering all that in videos once I get the box set. Right, let's have a look at the transfer sheet before we check out the sprues, because this is really interesting. Look at this on the right-hand side. They've got the outline of 2 bodies, which is really cool. I mean, it's so funny. I'm trying to figure how big this is going to be. It's not going to be massive, but they mentioned in the article that you could put it on the bases. I don't think that's going to work on the actual bases of the models themselves, surely. But you could certainly use it for an objective marker. That would work. I wouldn't want to put it on the board. That might be a bit of a waste and damage it. But otherwise, really quirky. I like that. But the rest of them, I'm not a fan of the font they've gone for here. It reminds me of like a Western money symbol, especially these ones here with the 5. So, yeah, not too sure I like the fonts all that much. I probably won't be putting any of these on. I don't do many transfers, to be fair. I also don't like these very much. They're very heavy on the justice, the idea of the scales, the fist of justice, I guess. But, yeah, that's not really for me. So, yeah, not too sure about that. But otherwise, I really like those dead body outlines. I think that's really funny that they did that. That brings us nicely on to the sprues now, so we can have a real good look at all the components. This is going to give us a great idea of how many models we're going to get out of this. I saw like 12 different operatives, but there's only enough for 10 pairs of legs, and there we go. And there's also 10 shields, so if we're building the whole squad as a unit for 40k, we want 10 shields. It makes sense. There's going to be 10 models plus the dog, so 11 altogether. And if you use the microphone as a separate one, I guess you could say that that's 12 models altogether. And here you can see we've got loads of the different batons of all different shapes and sizes. Some get a lot bigger and spikier later on. There's enough sidearms for everyone to get one as well. So that's a really nice addition. Interesting, there's 11 there though, but one of them hasn't got the pistol in it. So there's 10 with the pistol in, 1 without. And here's the first piece of the Cyber Mastiff. This is going to be one side of it. And as we go on to the second sprue that we can see in the top left, is going to be the second part of the dog. So it looks like very simple. We'll just glue these 2 pieces together and that's pretty much done. So that's nice and easy. This is a more interesting sprue. We're going to get lots more unique parts here now. There's those spiked cuffs that we saw on one of the operatives. We're getting some of the bigger mauls now. They're going to certainly do a lot more damage. Then there's the holstered shotguns. Great if you don't use them on the models for kit bashing later on. There's the leash, and that was a nice little touch actually using that. I love the sniper rifle. They're my favourite in most games. Always want snipers. And then we got this interesting weapon here. Maybe some kind of grenade launcher or smoke launcher maybe. A medic bag looks like. And then we've got the heads. There's not an awful lot of heads on these sprues. We saw loads, didn't we, on the blooded Kill Team sprues. They were packed. We had loads of options. But it looks like we're not going to get many options for the heads here. But certainly a lot where the weapons are concerned. And there's some more legs dotted around in the various pairs as well. Now we're on to the third sprue. This one's quite good as well. We've got some nice weapons going on. More legs, more pairs of legs. And then here we go. We've got some shotguns and mauls as well. So you can see you're certainly going to have enough to go round. As well as the holstered shotguns, you've got the ones in hand. This is an interesting weapon. Some kind of plasma or flamer. Not really sure about that one. And then we've got this one, an auto gun. That's going to be putting out a good few rounds, I imagine. Maybe you've got the fuselage rule. Have to wait and see. That covers the sprues. Now let's have a look at the terrain a bit closer. So I've had a look at these pictures from the online preview we saw from the Las Vegas Open, and I've picked a few things out since then that I didn't notice right away. The first one are these 2 breachable walls. So these sections actually come out of the walls themselves. Now I don't know what this means for the rules. Are we going to be allowed to actually breach through the wall now? I mean, we should have been from the beginning, really, but let's hope so. Let's hope this changes things up. But there's 2 there. There's also a third one up here, which I think looks very similar to the one in the bottom left. So I think that could be a third breachable wall. So we might get 4, maybe 2 like this and 2 like the other one that hasn't got the square or rectangle around it at the moment. So yeah, it'd be nice if we get 4 breachable walls. That's really good. And is that going to be in place of some other terrain pieces though? Again, we're going to have to wait and see. I really like this piece. It's like a doorstop. That's really interesting. And check out the board. We don't have that on the other board, so it looks like a new board as well, taking us down or up to a different level. Then there's this 3D panel. I love this. I think it's such a good idea. Brilliant. Looks awesome. I'm really happy they've included that. It's really made the set for me, just that piece. Then you've got all these control panels dotted around. Check out this one in the top right. This is going to be perfect for the bridge of a ship of some kind. As we go in closer, you can see it's quite big, and you add all these panels together, they can all go next to each other to make a really big control room. Loving that. I think it's brilliant, and I can't wait to actually get hold of these and to see what they look like on the tabletop. I think it's going to give us loads of options for narrative play in different games too, not just in Kill Team. There we go, that covers the sprues. We've had a close-up look at the new images now and the terrain as well. And the more I see these, the more I like them. At first I was like, oh yeah, they're cool, but now I like them a lot more. I think they look brilliant, especially that sniper. That's looking good, and really nice to see all the sprues up close. And hopefully it's given you a really good idea about what to expect from the ARBITES now. The dog looks great, doesn't it? Then there's the Drakari, who they'll be going up against. Maybe we'll get to see their sprue tomorrow or later in the week, so I'll do another video on that if they do release it. Be nice to see what the upgrade sprue is, and yeah, what they do, because some of these are quite old models, but I like the look of them, and I've not looked into these much at all in 40k or Kill Team, so it'd be interesting to try something that I wouldn't otherwise play. I hope you found this video helpful, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to bring you all the content when I get the box. It's going to be awesome to go through all the different build options for the 2 kill teams, have a close-up look at the terrain, and then we can get some of the special pieces painted as well. I'll probably do some painting videos for the 2 kill teams as well to give you an idea of how I do that, much like I did with the other sets. It'd be awesome if you check out my Patreon like we talked about earlier, and if you can join the first 100 Patreons, that would be brilliant. Then we can get some narrative battle reports going on, and I'm already doing narrative missions and things that I post on Patreon, so it would be fun to play those out for everyone here on YouTube too. So it'd be great if you could join in and help with that. Thanks so much for watching. If you did like the video, it'd be great if you hit the like button. Subscribe as well if you like what I'm doing here. That really helps push the channel forward and get it out there. And if you've been watching my videos and enjoying them, that would be awesome if you consider subscribing. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.